for expecting a bit short, so we'll make a start as it is time, and then those that can join us will catch up as we go. So we've got a bit of a heavy session for the arms this evening, so you can thank me for that one tomorrow. And yeah, let's make a start. We're going to go back to what we usually do, which is starting in standing. So just bring your focus back to your posture. Your feet are hip distance apart. I'm aware you can't really see my feet, but it doesn't matter for now. So feet hip distance apart, knees are soft. Your pelvis is resting level. Let's just start by bringing some nice deep breaths right down to the base of your lungs, past your lungs even, right down to your tummy, feeling your tummy rise and fall. If you want to, just for a moment, you can just take a few moments to close your eyes and really focus in on those deep breaths, because they are so good for just creating some stillness in our minds and also connecting in with our bodies. I'll leave you just there for a moment more, a couple more deep breaths. And just really feel those shoulders sink away from your ears. We're going to work on the arms this evening, so really important that we loose the tension from the neck and drop the shoulders down. Okay, open your eyes and let's just begin to move. So we're going to start to open up the side of the neck into the shoulder. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just tilt your head over to the side as if you've got a heavy earring that's just dropping you down to your shoulder, and then breathe in to move back to the center. And then that heavy earring is on the opposite side, so tilt to drop down over this way. Good. And again, just breathing in to come up and out to drop down. Nice work. Keep it going. In to come up. Just let the weight of your head open out your neck. Okay, we're going to go over to the opposite side and we're going to hold this one. So as you tip across to one side, try and reach down with the other hand. If you've got the option, if you want, just to gently add a little bit of a stretch and over pressure, just to exaggerate that sense of lengthening. Now, if you don't like that, it feels like it's too much pressure, then just let your head do the work, okay? And just hold and breathe. Back to those lovely deep breaths. Check the shoulders are relaxed, check the knees are soft. Good. Okay, we're going to come back to the centre. We're going to take that over to the second side. And again, either holding here, letting the weight of the head do the work, or adding that gentle stretch with the hand over the top. Drop the shoulder down and reach the floor. Imagine you're carrying a bag of heavy shopping that's just pulling your arm down away from you. You should feel a really deep stretch here. Back of the ear, top of the base of the skull, all the way through the neck and top of the shoulder. Okay, then come back to the centre and feel how light your head now feels sat on top of your shoulders. Okay, I'm going to drop those shoulder blades down away from the ears. I'm going to just start to draw the tummy towards the spine. We're going to do one single arm circle. So we're going to bring the arm behind us, scoop it up, round and bring it down. Okay, so the arm comes out behind us, scoop it up, swing it down. Now really try and isolate that movement to your shoulders, so you're not doing lots of twisting in your back. You're keeping your breastbone pointing forwards, and as you do, you should feel a lovely pull at the front of your shoulder. Keep those shoulders set down into your back pockets, up, round and down. It's a bit of a different direction to how we usually move with these shoulders, just to kind of switch it up a little bit this evening. Good stuff. Okay, keep it going. So we're sweeping up, round and down. Start to bring a bit of awareness to your tummy, so gently tightening just below your belly button. So we're starting to engage through the centre. Got one more on each side. And then we're going to take it into double arm circles. I'm really struggling with the space in here, so I'm just going to drop down onto my knees. You stay standing. Swing those both arms up, round and down for me. Okay, tummy's drawn towards the spine gently, shoulders deeply connecting down into your back pockets, and swing those arms up, round and down. A little bit of rotation with the palms if you can. So the palms are facing forwards as they come down from you into one another, and then out to the side as they come up. Looking good. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of movement with the legs. So we're going to just pop up onto tiptoes, Hold that balance as the arms swing up, round and down. Just warming those calves up a little bit. Now you can work on your pelvic floor as you hold. Keep those two arms swinging up, round and down. You can tell I planned this class downstairs in my kitchen when I've got loads of space and not up here in the loft. I'm still learning how this house is going to work. Okay, two more. Keep those heels lifted. In a minute, we're going to make them a little bit more dynamic now. So we're still going to work on these arm circles. Lower those heels down, but you're going to step back and drop down into lunge and then push back up to stand. Feet come back together. Swap arms. Step, lower down and push back up. So remember the bend comes in the back knee as if we're trying to place the knee down onto the floor. We'll get it as close as we can. And we're trying not to let that front knee pass over the toes. So keeping the weight into the back leg, keeping the upright posture through the spine. Looking good, everyone. Starting to work those legs and building that heart rate up a little bit more. Good. Two more each side. Go deeper for more of a challenge. Try and keep your knees in line with your second toes. One more each side. Breathing out to lower, in to come back up. Holding the next one. So we lower down in that lunge. We bring the hands overhead and we hold. Good. Now try not to let the pelvis dip. So the hips are level. 5, 4, legs should be really warm now. Arms should be really warm. We're going to take those hands and we're going to pulse down here. 10, 9, 8, 7. Feel it in that back leg. Keep that knee pointing forward. 5, you've got it. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come back to stand. Let's go straight into the other side before we can talk ourselves out of it. Step back, lunge down, reach the arms up first. I'll let you all join in before I start counting. Watch those shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms come down and we pulse. 10, a little bit deeper if you can. 9, 8, well done. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly come to stand. Shake those legs out for me. Okay, that was just to warm the legs up. I'm sure they're feeling really warm, but let's work them a little bit more now with a nice wide stance. Still with our focus back on our arms. Sorry you can't see my feet, but I've just turned my toes out to the corner of the mat. Let's just work a little bit on pelvic tilting here. So just arching the small of the back as we roll forwards and backwards. We've got a marble in our pelvis and we're just rolling it to the front of our pelvis and the back of our pelvis. We bring the pelvis level so that the marble sits in the middle. We keep the pelvis level as we bend down and then push up. Now try and keep your back nice and straight for me. So you're sliding your back down against the wall. Much better, well done. Keep the top line nice and tall and bend those knees. Now your options really are how deep you want to go with this one. So you can keep it up here, top half, or let's see how my hips are feeling today. Ooh, go a little bit lower. Okay, opportunity for your pelvic floor as well. But we're going to add the arms because it's all about arms today. So we're going to bring the hands and we're going to just bring them to a shoulder raise to the side. Drop the shoulders away from the ears still. The arms come back down to the centre. Okay, so we're using that control around the shoulders. So we're not here when we finish. No, we've got nice long necks, haven't we? So we're here. Good. Keep that posture nice and tall. Keep that tummy gently drawn in and use that pelvic floor to push the floor away from you. 4 more. Looking strong. Go a bit deeper. I bet you can. 3 more. 2 more. Slow, steady, but super hard. 1 more. We hold this one. So we're going to challenge the arms a little bit more now. Tuck the tail underneath. Drop the shoulders. Work that tummy towards the spine and pulse. Good. Squeeze your bottom so your knees open away from one another. 10, 9, 8, 7, smile, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly come up and give those legs a little bit of a shake and arms a shake too. Okay, we're going to come down onto the mats. We'll just come down straight into a box position. So we've got enough time when we get down there. So just come onto your hands and knees. I'll just adjust my camera. That's better. You can see the mat now. Okay. So I'll give you a second just to get into that position and move your cameras around if you need to. So as always, just a quick reminder of your adaptations. Wrist pain, you can double over your mat and just tuck your hands over the top of your wrist. Bring your hands a bit further forwards of your shoulders. You want to load those wrists up and work them. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Or again, an easier option is just making that fist and dropping your weight through your fists, okay? Shoulders are down away from the ears and the back of the head is lifted and the tailbone is lengthened towards the heels. The key with this is the tailbone, okay? I don't want to see any of this. I want to see a nice long spine, so use your tummy towards your spine to help, because we're going to do our press-ups. It wouldn't be an arm workout without press-ups, okay? So your options really are how close towards the top of your mat you are. So if you sit a little bit more into your heels, you'll take the weight out of your arm. Option 1, we bend the elbows and we send them towards the side of the mat, lowering the chest down, and then we push the mat away from us. Okay, so as we go down, we're not letting our buns go into the air, we're keeping that tailbone tucked underneath to get the core engaged. Option 1 is here. Okay, option 2, you take the weight and you bring it over your hands and then press from here. You'll feel a bit more through the shoulders and through the chest with that. Now make sure it's your heart that's leading the movement and not your nose. So you're not using that nose to give the illusion that you're closer to the floor. And you go as deep as you want to. And you're going to do about 8 in a row. And then you're going to pause, sit back on your heels, give your wrists a shake, and then join back in again. Lovely work. Look strong. Well done, everyone. Keep them slow. So really force the floor away from you. Imagine it's a big heavy door and you're just pressing that door away from you. Have a little pause, shake things out, and we're going again. We're going to see if we can get about 3 rounds in. So I'm going to join you for your last 2 because they all look great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Try not to fall into bad habits as these get harder, because that's what tends to happen is we lose our form. Okay, hopefully you can really feel the tummy working as you keep your tailbone tucked underneath. Anybody want to go for a full press up? Be my guest. I am not going to, so I won't be able to demonstrate that one for you, but it is an option. So remember, just breathing through these. The effort can be either the inhalation move or the exhalation. I don't mind, just make sure you're breathing. Dropping back to your heels once you've done 8. Really important that we strengthen the arms up, especially as we don't do much load bearing through the joints. And therefore, when we end up needing to use them to load bear through them, we're at higher risk of getting an injury. And it's important for the bone health as well. It's not just about the strength, it's about loading up those bones and making sure that the density in them is as strong as they can be. Because unfortunately, that density does reduce as we age, particularly for women. So really important that we're getting those bones nice and strong. Okay, hopefully you're coming up to your last round now. Hopefully this last round's feeling a bit more tricky than the first. If not, you're not working hard enough and you should be doing full press ups. Okay, we're all going to do 3 more. Sorry if you'd already finished. You've got 3 more though. 3, 2. Now we're going to hold this last one, so you don't need to go too deep. Just take it to where you can so you can feel some tension through your shoulders. Oh, welcome back, Tim. Snuck out and missed a few of those. Okay, I will count now because Tim just snuck out the room and came back. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Good work. Sit back into those heels and give those wrists a little bit of a circle round. That was really nice, really, really good. So if you can try and fit some press ups into your day, they don't have to be on the floor. You could lean over your kitchen counter, you could lean against a door. As I say, the importance of building up that strength in the arms for muscles and bone density is key. Okay, back to the shoulders, but we're going to do a bit more of stability work now. So make sure you've given your wrists a good stretch out. Okay, back to box position. This is where we work on our box position with us being a coffee table. Maybe you've got cups of coffee on your back, maybe you've got, you know, it's the summer, maybe you've got a pina colada, I don't know, whatever you fancy. But you're trying to keep your spine nice and level. You're pushing the floor away from you and lifting the back of the head up and starting to just draw your tummy towards your spine. Okay, we're going to do shoulder taps from here. So we take one hand and tap across to the opposite shoulder, then bring a hand back down to the floor, and then repeat on the opposite side. So if the shoulder tap feels a bit too high, just aim for the elbow. It's not really about the shoulder tap, it's about this position of your shoulder. So can you do that without twisting, without losing that lovely control around your shoulder and spine? So if you need to at any point, you just sit back to those heels and give those wrists a little rest. Lovely. Elaine, make your box a little bit longer for me. So just step your knees back. That's perfect now, well done. Good, watch that head, Liz, keep it lifted. Good, well done. Okay, now you can keep going with this nice and slowly, swapping right and left, or we're going to add some legs in. Now to add the legs in, we're just going to tap the right hand to the left shoulder, okay, hold that position, okay, and then with the left leg, we're going to stretch the leg out, maybe lift, lower and fold back in. Keep the hand where it is, lengthen, lift, lower and fold. You don't have to lift though, you could just lengthen and fold. Still really nice. We've got to challenge that balance around the hips a little bit more now. The key is still those pina coladas, so keep them nice and rested on your spine. And now feel that left hand as it's starting to load up a little bit more. Okay, we've got 6 more, or you can just keep going with the shoulder taps if you're not happy with the legs. Okay, good. Loads of options for you guys. Do what you need to do. Okay, I'm going to count you in for 3, 2, and 1. You're coming back to your box position now. You've got your right hand on the floor and your left hand tapping across to your right shoulder or elbow. Now it's the right leg's turn. We lengthen, lift maybe, lower and fold. Lengthen, maybe lift, lower and fold. So as that leg lifts, really work hard to keep the tailbone long. We're not arching the back to lift the leg. We're using these lovely strong muscles that we've got in our hips, our glutes. Squeeze your bottom as you lift. You should really feel that lift if you're doing it, okay? 4 more. Breathe out to lengthen. 3. Feel that right wrist working. 2. Looking good, guys. And 1. Super, lower that leg down. And again, just once more, sit back to your heels. We'll have a good stretching shell stretch now. Push the hands away from you. I want you to imagine someone's pulling on your arms and stretching through your shoulders. If you want to, you can just rest your head down onto the mat if that feels good for you. And just really stretch your fingers apart, lengthening every fibre in your arms. Okay, I'd love to leave you hanging here, but we've got a little bit more work to do. So we're going to come on to our fronts now. We're going to do a little bit of our plank work in prone. So propping yourself lying on your tummies for me. Okay, you're going to prop your arms, forearms, elbows beneath your shoulders, and your hands are just resting down on the mat. Okay,
So we can be really dynamic in this position, or we can be really lazy. So we can just hang out here and say, yeah, I'm doing my Pilates. Or we can think about the floor. We can push the floor away from us. Notice how that changes that position of my shoulders, and my neck gets nice and long. I'm going to imagine I've got one of those fancy candles that cost about 30 quid between my hands, and I'm just trying to hollow away from the heat of that candle with my breastbone. Liz, I'm just giving you a minute just to catch up because I see you moving your camera around a little bit. There we go. Okay, lovely. And then bottom half, you want to just start to tuck your tailbone away. Now, even just doing that, I can start to feel tension building up in my tummy. So I'm drawing my tummy towards my spine, and I could just be holding this position. So pushing away from the floor, hollowing my chest and lengthening my tailbone. Or I could maybe start to float my hips off the floor. I only need a little bit of a lift, really drawing the ribs towards the waist. I'm shaking like hell here. You might not be able to see it, but I am working really hard to do this. So don't worry if it feels like an effort. It absolutely should, because you're really engaging that core, and then you're going to lower back down again. You're going to just give everything a little wiggle and shake, and you're going to go again. So the key thing with this is your setup, okay? So pushing the floor away from you, hollowing your chest, tailbones lengthened, and then maybe you peel your hips off the floor as well, okay? The hips only need to be lifted a couple of inches or so. Good, that's it. Breathe through it. Well done. These are looking strong. Think about that neckline as well. You got that juicy peach between your chin and your chest, and you're just gently pressing your chin into the peach, not squashing it. You don't want to drop it either. Good. Okay. Are we working hard? Yeah, we're working hard. We're working hard, but I'll give you an option if you want to work harder, okay, is to tuck your toes underneath and squeeze your thighs, okay? And by doing that, you should feel your knees lift off the mat, okay? And you're in that full plank position. Big step up though, and it's not really necessary. You can work really hard here without having to be here, okay? So don't feel like you have to add that one in. I'd rather you be here with a lovely form, a comfortable challenge, than here and it's not really working for you. Okay, keep going. I'm going to count you in. If we're going to do a long hold, we'll go for 10, 9. That's it, Jill. Go on, get up. 8. So you can do it. 7. I believe in you. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Super down we go. And rest. So you think I'm not looking, and then I change the camera onto you. Brilliant. Let's come into our cobra stretch because it's a nice opportunity to do so. So just bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips now. So you can either do the cobra stretch on the forearms, so just peeling your spine away but keeping the front of the pelvis on the mat, or if you want to go into a full cobra, push away from the floor, extending the elbows. But again, the key with this is dropping the shoulders away from the ears. They look wonderful. So you can look forwards or up. That looking up will just give you a nice big stretch through the front of your body. Also changes the tone in your voice, as I'm currently realising it's quite hard to talk whilst in a cobra looking up. Okay, breathing, a couple of deep breaths here. And then we slowly come down out of that one. Just peel your spine back down onto the mat and just rest for a moment with your head on your hands, just to let that kind of pressure come out the small of your back. It's not a worrying pressure, but it does push you into a deep bit of extension, and sometimes that can catch you out. Okay, we are going to come into sitting now. We're going to work the tricep muscles and a bit more into the shoulders. So you can either sit along the length of your mat or you can sit facing forwards. So we're going to come into sort of like a reverse box position. So you've got your feet hip distance apart, and then your hands are slightly behind you, but they're pointing either side of your mat. So I'll give you a couple of views of this. I've done it before. It's just that kind of reverse box lift position. All there. Marvellous. Okay, so again, the key thing with this is pressing the floor away from you. So by starting here, you want to press your hands into the mat. drop your shoulders away from your ears and lift your heart to the ceiling. We don't want to lose the head, so we're going to keep the chin gently nuzzled into the peach that we've got between our chin and chest. And it might just be you're working to press the floor away from you. It might be that you want to start to see if you can lift your hips off the mat. Okay, and then you come into a slight lifted position and lower. Lift and lower. Or you can go for gold. You can lift those hips, get those hips as high as your knees, and you're in that reverse box position now. Okay, but don't lose the head. Keep the head looking forwards. Your head's quite heavy if it drops back, okay? So your options really are how high you go, and that can be nowhere at all. It can just be sitting here and pushing the floor away from you. It can be little lifts, or it can be big lifts. Your options are also how long you hold for, so you could do a little lift and hold it for ages. Make sure when you're lifting, you don't lose your neck, so keep pressing the floor away from you as you lift. And let's work that pelvic floor as we're here. So a nice draw through your pelvic floor as you lift and hold. Let me see how you're getting on with that. Good. So keep looking forwards, Tim. That's it. Very nice. Well done, Lauren. Okay, a little while longer with these. They're really good. Just working through that shoulder. Squeeze your bottom when you get to the top, even if the top is here. Yeah, it's a full body strength now. Make sure those knees don't collapse into one another. Keep your knees in line with your hips. That's it. Shake those arms off and join back in. We're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Super down we come, and then hug your knees. Just take that pressure out the back of your shoulders. Right then, a little bit more before we finish. So we're going to come back into that sort of propped position. But this time I want you to have your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing towards your feet. So you just kind of rotated your hands around in a slightly different direction. Okay, again, we start nice and tall. This one's for the tricep muscles, so you should feel that back of the arm, okay? Now keep the elbows tucked into one another. Imagine you've got a band tied around both of your arms, pulling your elbows together, and then you're going to bend and lower yourself down towards the mat, and then push the floor away from you to come back up to sit. So again, you don't have to go too low. You can be nice and high with this. I want you to really feel that in the back of the upper arm, or you can come a little bit lower and take your arms all the way down to the mat before you push away. The key is the elbow position. So I'll show you what that looks like from behind, okay? So we don't want the arms to come out to the side as you lower down. You want to lock those elbows together and keep them pressed together as you lift and lower. Same with these as we did with our press ups. We'll try and get 8 in 3 times over. So once you've finished your first round of 8, have a little rest, shake it out, and then go again. Oh, well done, looking great. Lovely. And that's work the deep tummy muscles with these. So I just want you to keep a little bit of tension through your tummy as you lower and lift. Beautiful work, everybody. Nice work. Okay, so have a little shake out of things when you get to 8. It's like you're waving. Good work. Okay, now I'm just going to show you a few options. They look great and you can absolutely stay with those. If you want to add in a little bit of core work, you can do a single leg stretch or a double leg stretch. A single leg stretch looks like this. As you bend down, you lengthen the leg away and then come back up, and then you're going to swap, okay? So it's just that leg stretch that we often do lying on our back, okay? There's your first option. Well, no, your first option is no legs. Second option is 1 leg, okay? Third option, you probably guessed it, is 2 legs, okay? So loads at the pelvis, loads at the tummy a little bit more.
Okay, and your options as well are how low you take your feet. So the lower towards the floor, the more you're going to work those hips. So do whichever option you feel you can get the most out of, whilst having good technique, and being able to breathe is always good. Well done. Now, most importantly though, keep those elbows tucked in. So once you've done your second round of 8, just give everything a little bit of a shake out. And then I'm going to do 8 more, slowly, steadily. And hopefully we meet it together at the end. Okay, tricep work. Triceps probably my weakest muscle in my arms. Really could do with strengthening them up a little bit more. Again, it's not really a muscle that we use a huge amount unless you've got a manual job. Got to count. So we're all going to do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1. I'm going to hold it. 3, 2, 1, and come back in, lovely, and hug around those knees. Okay, I just want you to sit with your legs out straight for a moment. Sit nice and tall if you can, and reach your hands up to the ceiling, taking a deep breath in. As you breathe out, take your left hand and reach behind your shoulder blades, and reach over with your right hand and just gently press down, stretching into those triceps. This is a lovely opportunity to still work the core, so sit as tall as you can. That's better. Good. Okay, and then just tilt to the right hand side. Just feel that stretch through your lats, the muscles that sit along the back. Big, strong muscle group that help our shoulders quite a bit. Okay, come back to the center. Breathe in again. Reaching up, and now take your right hand, reach between your shoulder blades, and gently press over with your left hand. And then over to the left, a little bit of bend. And then come back to the center. Now just want you to sit comfortably, so that could be with the legs straight, the knees bent, the legs crossed. Anyway, whatever works for you. Just so you're not having to work too hard to sit upright, okay? I'm going to bring the arms out to the side. Again, drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Just going to finish with a little bit of breath work movement. So breathe in. And then as you breathe out, just reach over to one side, press the hand into the floor and reach the other hand up towards the ceiling. Maybe looking up towards that hand with a lovely breath out. Then we come back to the center, breathing in. And then breathing out when we get to the bottom, pressing to the hand, reaching up. And again, just move now with your breath. Now you know what you're doing. Just swaying from side to side, like a tree in the breeze, but still working on that lovely shoulder posture. So when you get to the end, don't lose that long neck. You want to be lifted through the posture. 1 more on each side, focusing on your breathing. Looking beautiful. Brilliant. And then just bring yourself back to sit. And give those shoulders a nice big roll through. Brilliant. Well, thank you everybody, and thank you for bearing with me whilst I still work out the best way to teach this class in this room. I'll get there. It doesn't help that there's a load of washing there that I forgot to put away. So okay, well, great to see you all, and I'll see some of you on Thursday and the rest of you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Harriet.